Drivers Mate podcast. Right, today I want to talk about the fact that haters are completely unaccountable, right? And how bad it is for the internet algorithm, content creators like me and you, people that just want to put something into the world, right? It's really annoying that haters and trolls get to just be anonymous and unaccountable, right? They can essentially stalk you as an individual, stalk your online profiles, report them as spam, put terrible comments, put thumbs down, DM other people telling them not to like your stuff or to never engage with you, or you're a bad person for X, Y, and Z, right? And they don't have to prove anything, right? They never have to come out in the open with their names and their face and say who they are and why, right? And they don't have to violently confront the person that they hate, but they never have to directly confront the person that they hate as an actual human being existing in the world. And that is scary for multiple reasons, right? There's no accountability. Anybody can just put allegations on you, right? Anybody can just report you with no comeuppance, no real investigation, no real work put in, no accountability if they're right, if they're wrong, right? And that is scary. For instance, we've seen all of these legacy media type scandals recently, right? And I hate to say legacy media because it gives off the idea that I'm of that kind of mind state. I'm not. I'm just aware of the situation collectively, right? And I'm gonna give you an example from it. So you've seen all of these scandals recently. You've got your Andrew Tates, you've got your Russell Brands, right? Everybody has noticed, there's other names too, right? We go down a long list. Most of these people, ironically, all have sexual allegations charged against them. But the problem is this: all of these allegations seem to be coming from the same playbook, right? We've seen it time and time again with both celebrities and non-celebrities, like people, community leaders, lawyers, businessmen, just normal everyday people, right? The only difference is those people don't have big platforms, so newspapers don't write them up as much, and TV and radio don't talk about them as much, right? So their opportunity to fight back is very small, right? They don't have the big platforms like these two guys, right? But that aside, I'm not saying that they're not guilty, and I'm not saying that they are guilty. I'm just examining the scenario for where it is, and the same unaccountability, how it's transferred, right, onto online spaces too. Although these two people have allegedly have alleged allegations put on them, right? Alleged, right? We notice the same thing because they have a big platform. Like I said, doesn't mean they're not guilty, and it doesn't mean they're not innocent, whatever. Right? Yeah? They clearly have people with an agenda that would like to bring them down off their platform, right? For maybe because of what they're saying, maybe the type of attention they bring, maybe because they're going against political parties, secret societies, what have you, right? And it could be a directed, concerted effort to bring these people down, right? Men in particular. But it's always the same playbook, right? Anonymous women accuses sexual assault, right? Accuses feeling uncomfortable, right? Never has to be accountable, even when the people are proved innocent. The names of the people making these allegations are never made public. The apology is never made public, right? That is a problem, right? And not only is that a problem in real world spaces where it affects your job, your family, your community, the way you move through life, it's a problem online, the way people interact with your social medias, your YouTube, whatever content it is you're creating, right? That unaccountability, right, linked with the ability to shut people down, right, to muzzle people, suppress information, and silence people is super dangerous, right? That is like Orwell level societal manipulation, right? That is real bad stuff. You don't want that, right? Because not only does that undermine meritocracy, right, which it's not, but it should be. It undermines everything we've built society on in the first place, right? The idea that we're all agreeing to a social contract to be dutiful to justice and do what's right? Do what's right in most places, most circumstances, and not only do what's right, to be as transparent as possible, right? We're supposed to be able to trust our leaders, we're supposed to be able to trust journalism, we're supposed to be able to trust our politicians, we're supposed to be able to trust our police, we're supposed to be able to trust our banks, right? But the way it actually is, we can't. As individuals, we can't even have that same level of trust in these groups and entities anymore, because absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? There's no one to hold any of these people accountable, and worse, there's no one to hold the people that go to these people for power plays accountable as well, right? So anybody can say anything, and it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't even have to be believable. Like, once it's put into the ether, it's like, all right, yeah, there's question marks there, right? But anyone, I could find someone that comments on this video and just say XYZ about them, right? And you couldn't prove me wrong, and you couldn't prove me right? But once I put it out there, it's there forever, and it stains people's lives and careers, right? It's really bad. And like we just covered, right? There's the media side of it, then there's the social media side of it. But here's a deeper part of it, right? The initial tactic where it comes from, right, is espionage. It comes from secret societies, right, and it comes from intelligence agencies, right? So your MI5s, your CIAs, your whatever KGB stuff, right? All of that Cold War tactics, right? You break down a human being, or you break down a political party by attacking the individuals, right? And you spread fear, or it's like, not the right word I'm looking for is, it's like propaganda, yeah? But it's a specific type of propaganda. So for instance, Hitler was able to do what he did to the Jews because he dehumanized them first, right? He made the other Germans, the German soldiers, right? Obviously there's more to it than this, right? There's more political things at play. But through propaganda, through dehumanization, it was easier to move these people into slave camps and treat them inhumanely, right? Do terrible things to them, because he already managed to make the public believe they are bad people, right? Without proof, right? That's the killer of it, right? Without substantial proof. How can you prove that the Jewish people are responsible for the German economy tanking, right? How can you actually prove that, right? You can point at a few people and say they have power, but does that justify doing all that was done to the Jews? No, but that's the same lynch mentality, the mob mentality that is now prevalent in society, on social media and in the legacy media, right? We dehumanize people so we can control them, we can silence them, we can put plays in order, just like intelligence agencies, just espionage, right? Now, am I saying that every voice on the internet should be allowed? Well, yeah, everyone should have the right to have a voice, right? Everyone should have the right to create content. But should the worst type of content be allowed to permeate our society? No, right? That should be accountable too, right? Someone should be keeping that in check too. But there should be a transparent way of doing it, right? So there's direct confrontation of it, from the person that has a problem with it to the person that started the problem, or the person that's perceived the problem. There should be a direct line of clear communication, transparently, to hash out the problem first, right? Now, if that doesn't work, we have to go to second, third, fourth lines of tackling the situation. But it's not like that, right? That's the problem. All right, we can't, for instance, right? Let's step back for a minute. Let's step back from the emotional side of it. I run a company like YouTube. I run a company like Facebook, right? It is very hard for me to satisfy my millions, if not billions of users, right? And even worse, I don't have the manpower to be able to offer customer service to every individual case, right? So what I have to do is create systems of checking things out, stopping things, and going for like FAQs and troubleshooting documents, right? That's logical. We can't fault the companies for doing that, right? Because they have to protect themselves first through legality, right? Litigation. They have to do those things to protect themselves first, right? Which is fair. But then, if we peel that back a little bit more, recently, especially during the pandemic, we found out a lot of people that were working for Facebook and Google were coming out and saying, hey, we were essentially hired by Facebook just to show up to meetings on Zoom and leave, right? We didn't actually do any work. And Twitter as well, right? They didn't actually do any work. So all of these hundreds of thousands of people that are potentially employed, being paid just to have meetings, could have been directed towards making customer service better, right? Checking out the problems with the algorithms, making sure when things are reported, they are reported correctly and fairly, right? We have fact checkers now, so to speak, but we don't know what or who is doing the fact checking. We don't know, right? There's no verification. Another thing where this pops up is copyright issues, right? As a producer, as someone who's made music before, right, I have literally made a song from scratch, right? Got the folder, got the file, got the DAW, everything there, right? Made the song, bounced the song, distributed the song myself. Now, that when I'd done that particular song, I'd done it in college, right? So it was part of my final dissertation stuff, right? University/college, right? It was part of that. So I submitted my work off to my uni, passed whatever, got my foundational degree, whatever, right? Did that, right? Now, when I went to post that particular song online on my Instagram, it kept coming up with this song is owned by Universal Music Group, right? How is that possible? Now, there's only two things that could be happening there, right? One, my tutor at my college university is shady, right? And they were stealing music and putting us in deals that we didn't know about, which is not impossible, but it's kind of hard to believe. Or two, something is wrong with the algorithm, right? Someone is either registered my music somewhere else, right, to Universal Music Group, which I've never done, right? Or the algorithm is picking it up inaccurately, right? The copyright is wrong because I protested it. Here is my copyright. I created this song from scratch, right? But there's no human to go and check this. And to be fair, would you want to do that job as a human? No, because it's long, right? It's terribly wrong. It's terribly long. But all in all, there has to be better customer service, right? There has to be a system put in place to check these problems, to stop anonymous attacks from people, right? And bots and political swaying, because we've seen what happened with the Russian bots and Trump, quote unquote, on Twitter, right? We saw all of that, right? It needs to be checked, and the legacy media also need to be accountable, right? We can't just be letting anonymous people pursue allegations without it being sent to the police first, right? It needs to go to the police, it needs to go to court first before we're reporting or investigating on these things. Because yeah, they might be right, it might all be true, but what is the point if the police and the Crown Prosecution Services aren't doing their part first, right? There is no point. You're essentially just slandering this person, bringing this person down, stopping their job opportunities, stopping them from being able to feed their family, stopping them from being able to produce content, right? Whether that content is bad or good, that shouldn't be allowed in society, right? Yes, society is not fair, but overall, every person should have the right to free speech, for one, right? And the internet is technically, because of smartphones, right, democratized. Everyone should have the right to post what they want to post, right? Now, if it is extremely offensive, right, and if it's some kind of abuse, be it children or women or old people or any kind of scamming, anything like that, right, malicious content, yes, should be checked, should be stamped out, right, 100%. But there needs to be a human checking it, an unbiased, bipartisan human being checking it, right? Not a bot, not a biased person checking this stuff. It needs to go through a system of actually being looked at. Is this content bad? Is the person or people reporting this content verifiable? Are they actually human beings, right? Can we trace that person that's reported this back to an ID, back to an address, back to an IP address that is suitable, right? They're not just a guy in his basement with 15 different accounts reporting all the people he didn't like at school, right? We need to check that shit, right? Make sure that is not what's happening. So yes, shadow banning is a big old problem. Unaccountability from spam people, haters, is a real big problem. Unaccountability from anonymous victims is a big problem, right? All of these things need to be checked out, right? Smear campaigns, snuff campaigns need to stop. We need to have direct dialogue, right? Transparent dialogue between the perpetrator and the victims, or the perpetrator and the governing bodies, right? There needs to be direct, transparent dialogue, not smear campaigns, not takedown campaigns, not spam bots and shadow banning. It needs to be out in the open, clear communication, and fairly, non-biased, bipartisan, if that's the right word, communication and resolutions, right? That's what we need to see. So comment down below if you've had any problems like this, if people have been spamming you, you feel you've been shadow banned or unfairly treated by platforms, be it legacy media or social media. Let me know and see if we can work together to build a community and challenge these shadow bans, these claims of abuse, right? Let's see if we can do something together collectively to make it more fair, more transparent, and get to the bottom of this, right? So comment below if you've been through it, let me know and we'll talk about it, right? If you haven't experienced it, let me know why you think it might be a bad idea for us to actually hold people accountable, right? Let me know. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Drivers Make Podcast. Let's get it.